Hello everybody, welcome back from the beginner to pro series, where today we will go over how you check the meta, what is meta, and we are gonna try to help you guys crack the code to it, or I am. So the meta is actually what is popular, what is good, what is bad at the moment. It's kind of like a big game of rock paper scissors because this tournament we saw a lot of Terrapagos and Raging Bolt. Okay, so next tournament we will try to counter that. And it's always about finding a counter to the new counter. If you wanna get ahead in the meta, then that's how you need to do it. So, we have some strong decks in the meta. At the moment we have Terrapagos, Raging Bull, and Regidrago. Regidrago has won 2 tournaments in a row, so that's definitely the top meta deck right now. And there's 3 main archetypes in the meta, or 4 actually. We have the aggro decks, that's something like Raging Bolt, Miraidon, Gouging Fire, I would also call him aggro deck. Then we have control decks, that's Bayonet, and Snorlax Soul, and Iron Fawns. That's our 3 big control. Then we have combo decks, that's everything with Gardevoir in it is just huge combo decks. Lugia Archeops as well. Terrapagos actually also relies a lot on combos. And then we have stalled defensive decks, and that's again the same class as Snorlax goes under, and Cornerstone Ogerpon. Some decks are playing multiple things. Like a lot of decks has a lot of control elements in them, and then have a subclass or a main class, and then use control as a subclass to it. Some decks is full control, like this Pidgeot control you see right here. That's a full control deck, and we just take Tobias Stromdale's list and just show it what's that about. So this deck is playing around the control from Wellspring Mask, where you can retreat and can do damage to the bench. So, but in general, that's also the most popular archetype to play. That's the control archetype. You will see it a lot. It's always super consistent, but it's super difficult to learn. So yeah. So the top 3 meta decks at the as we are talking right now is right here. It says Regidrago, Raging Bull, and Terrapagos. The Regidrago and Terrapagos I definitely agree on, but I think Lugia is more popular in general term than Raging Bolt. But both decks are great. Both are definitely hyper meta at the moment. And as you see, we have a big meta at the moment. We have some wildcards like Okidoki. This was Okidoki Garchomp, I think, or was it just pure Okidoki? Okay, pure Okidoki. But we have some cool tech, some we haven't seen before in the current meta. But in general, we have a pretty wide meta, and at the moment we have a really good meta. So, for now we will try look into how we can counter the current meta. Because we have seen counter picks to the current meta. Like when Charizard was popular, you saw... Let me go into here. When you go into Limitless, you can check what is popular, what is not, and how is everything performing. They are based on points on tournament results, and they have a share over here. So when Charizard was the #1 big meta pick, you saw Lugia and Regidrago start slowly climbing, and so did Dragapult. And you saw Gardevoir slowly falling out of the meta. That's just something you will see in every meta. You will see some deck going up and then a few small ones to follow. Snorlax Stall is also really popular, especially because of the Charizard, Raging Bull, and Regidrago, and Pult as well. All decks that do well against, and then also the lack of Ancient Box and Roaring Moon decks and Lost Zone Box makes it really easy for stuff like Charizard. We also have a few new wildcards to meta, the Cloth with Unhinged Scissors, we have the Gouging Fire, and of course we have the mill decks, Great Tusk Mill, and as well, I think right here, no mills here. But Great Tusk Mill is also a deck we will see a little bit off. It's not really an archetype I would take for, but it exists. So when you are looking to pick your deck and start building, you need to think about, okay, what meta decks do I need to deal with, like in most games, and what meta decks can I say, okay, I'm unlucky if I play into that. Now that I am practicing Miraidon and Snorlax Stall, Snorlax Stall is impossible for Miraidon. That's just how it is. And so is Charizard. Those two matchups is super difficult for Miraidon. Iron Thorns can also be difficult, but Miraidon if sometimes can get up the search engine or get a quick KO because we have so much damage. So yeah, it all depends on pick your evil. Like some decks will just be pure pain for you, no matter what you play. Gouging Fire also has some difficult matchups. It struggles into Zard as far as I remember, and into Lugia. Lugia struggles with Snorlax, no, with Iron Thorns and with Miraidon, and so on. Every deck has good matchups and bad matchups, and usually you take a little bit up against some of the bad matchups. Like if we go into here and go under here, go into this list, and you can see a tech card I have included two of is Temple of Sinnoh and the Giacomo, like a tech into Lugia. Because if you look at Lugia deck list, they usually run maybe two stadiums, one or two, yeah, one Mesagosa, one Collapsed. You get those out of the way, and now they are trapped with a stadium that shut down energy, so we can't use Jet as the switch, and so on. So it all depends on how do you pick what to counter, and what do you want to play with the current meta. Like that was also the only reason Iron Thorns won Worlds, was because if you look at the Worlds meta, it was excellent for Iron Thorns. Iron Thorns was dominating the current Worlds meta. So, now I will present you with a deck list, and I will let you guys try comment in the comments what you think will counter it. And after you commented, I will see slowly talk about what if you're right or wrong and what actually is the counter. And the list I will use is my modified Meowscarada with 3 Meowscaradas, 1 Teal Mask, and as you can see, pretty basic list. And here's the supporters and tools I have chosen, and as well the energy right here. So, I will give you guys 15 seconds to comment what you think, and then let's talk about it. Because Miascarada is not a deck you will see that often. That goes under the class Rogue decks. Rogue decks is those weird new decks we see to counter the current meta. This is made for a different meta, and let's go into why I made this for that specific meta. So this one was made during the Charizard meta, where Charizard was super popular, and the reason I made Meowscarada was because it can, with 2 Meowscaradas I do 60 damage to the bench, which is enough to KO most Charmanders, which I like about it. And then as well, if you use Alakazam to move a few damage counters, you do 200 with damage with Meowscarada. The reason we only do 200 is because of the double turbo energies, but it still is enough to KO a lot of big threats. Even something like Miraidon you can KO with it, you can KO regular Regidrago, and there's a lot of threats that is getting targeted out by this deck. And we also have a good energy search and retrieval. It's not perfect, I will not say it's perfect, but it's working like I intended it to work. And yeah, I performed decently with it. It was my first deck I played in any tournaments with. And for the current meta at that point, it was a good deck. But let's get into the next part, and that is how do you find out what is the correct deck? So after you've chosen your deck and want to find out what tech to add, look at the limitless deck list. Something you can do is go into rankings, I think it is. No. Oh, here. Here you can see the top 6 decks that will, with the most play. I will say these 6 is the ones you should take the most for. If you have a good matchup into those 6, no matter what you play, you should have a good shot. So yeah. But I hope you enjoyed this. You can also try comment your deck or what archetypes you would like me to see building a deck that suits the current meta. Like if you want me to build a mill archetype, let me know. And I would love to try to look at your deck list as well, try to come up with some new stuff. And then we will actually end it on here. I will see you guys tomorrow on the next episode of Mastering the Essentials. And we will take a dive into how to make not perfect, but as good as perfect sequencing, because there's nothing called perfect sequencing, but we will take a look into that, how to see what to do at what point. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. See you guys for tomorrow. Peace out.